So today I'm sitting at my terrace. As you can see, the open air is there. So today we are going to talk about Bharani Nakshatra, a very important nakshatra. Bharani Nakshatra is not meant to feel light. It is not meant to feel easy. And it is definitely not meant to feel comfortable. Bharani is the place where life is carried under pressure, where something must be held even when it hurts, even when it feels heavy. If Ashwini is the spark of birth, then Bharani is the place that spark is tested. Here, life is not just created, it is carried, protected, and sometimes changed. The core theme of Bharani is the ability to hold emotions, to hold responsibility, and to hold situations that cannot be escaped. And when something is held long enough under pressure, it doesn't remain the same. It transforms. That transformation is what Bharani is really about. Not every soul is given this capacity. Only those who can endure pressure are placed here. Bharani is ruled by Venus, but this Venus is not about comfort or pleasure alone. This is desire bound by fire, pleasure with consequences, creation that must answer to karma. That is why Bharani natives rarely live casual lives. Life asks more from them, emotionally, morally, existentially. The presiding deity of Bharani is Yam, not just the god of death, but the lord of law, restraint, judgment, and rebirth. So, from the moment a Bharani soul enters life, they are placed in situations where choices matter, where actions echo, where avoidance is not an option. They are often forced to mature early, sometimes through responsibility, sometimes through loss, sometimes through uncomfortable clarity. Psychologically, Bharani natives are deeply principled. They're not here to please everyone, they're here to stand by what they believe is right, even if it costs them comfort, approval, or relationships. They carry a strong inner compass, and when authority feels unjust or hollow, they struggle to submit to it. This makes them powerful and often misunderstood. Bharani exists in Aries, a sign that seeks freedom, speed, and independence. But Bharani itself represents restraint and bearing. So inside the native, there is a constant tension going on. One side of that person keeps on telling him that I want to break free. And the other side is I must hold on to this together. This inner pressure is not accidental. In Bharani, pressure is the path of transformation. Many Bharani natives quietly feel that life is heavier for them, not because they are unlucky, but because they are entrusted with serious karmic roles. They are often placed at life's pressure points where responsibility cannot be escaped and consequences must be faced. And what Bharani gives in return is quite undeniable authority, an authority that comes from lived experience, from endurance, from having carried weight without collapsing. People sense this depth in Bharani natives even when they say nothing at all. So, Bharani is not a nakshatra of ease. It's not easy being a Bharani nakshatra native, but it is a nakshatra of capacity. If you observe Bharani natives closely, one thing becomes very clear. They are not light minded people. They think deeply, they feel strongly, and they take life seriously even when they don't show it openly. Bharani natives are guided by a strong inner sense of right and wrong. They don't adjust easily just to fit in. They don't like pretending, and they don't believe in pleasing everyone. This is why they are often respected, but also very much misunderstood. Bharani men, for example, usually carry a serious presence. They may look calm or reserved, but inside their mind is always active. They are pure hearted but very much blunt. They value honesty more than popularity. If they feel something is wrong, they will say it on your face, even if it creates resistance. Because of this, early life can feel challenging for them. Their strong opinions may clash with authority figures, and emotional balance come only with experience. But once this maturity sets in, they become dependable, responsible, and steady leaders. Their biggest life lesson is learning how to balance inner truth with outer harmony. Bharani women, on the other hand, are independent by nature. They value dignity, self respect, and autonomy. They do not like being controlled, and they flourish when their intelligence is acknowledged. They are strong, capable, and courageous. Often, they create opportunities for themselves instead of waiting for support. Relationships, Bharani women don't seek dominance, they seek respect. When they feel emotionally secure, they become deeply loyal and committed partners. Their growth comes from learning patience, especially in emotional matters. Whether male or female, Bharani natives don't live smooth and straight line lives. Their journey often moves in phases: rise, fall, pause, and rise again. Each phase matures them, and this is why major stability often comes after the early 30s. With age, they become calmer, wiser, and more comfortable with their own intensity. Emotionally, Bharani people feel a lot, but they don't always express it easily. They carry stress inside themselves, they hold responsibility silently, and when emotions are suppressed for too long, it can reflect as exhaustion or inattention. That is why routine, discipline, and some form of physical or creative outlet helps them a lot. What makes Bharani truly powerful is their ability to stand alone when required. They don't collapse under pressure. They don't run away from responsibility, and when others hesitate, they step forward. This quiet strength is what defines Bharani at its core. One thing about Bharani natives is very clear: life never allows them to stay irresponsible for a very long time. Even when they try to live freely, situations arise that pull them back into duty, decision making, and accountability mode. This is not accidental. This is a karmic design of Bharani natives are naturally placed in roles where choices matter. They are often the ones who must decide, take responsibility, and handle situations that others avoid. Because of this, their career path rarely feels light or casual. Even creative or business roles come with pressure, targets, expectations, or moral responsibility. Early in life, this pressure can feel overwhelming. When Bharani natives experience confusion, resistance, and dissatisfaction in their 20s, they may feel burdened too early by family expectations, financial duties, or work environments that demand too much. This phase is not a failure, it is preparation. As time passes, something shifts. With experience, Bharani natives develop emotional strength. They stop reacting impulsively. They start trusting their judgment. That is why noticeable improvement often comes after the early 30s. Career stabilizes, authority increases, others begin to rely on them. Bharani performs best in professions where responsibility cannot be escaped: administration, leadership, law, medicine, surgery, business, industry, and agriculture, any field where endurance, decision making, and accountability are very much required. Even in creative fields like art, music, advertising, or hospitality, they rise when they take ownership rather than just following instructions. Money for Bharani natives is rarely accidental. It comes through effort, discipline, and the ability to carry pressure longer than others. They may not experience overnight success, but what they build tends to last. One important lesson Bharani natives must learn is balance. Because they are strong, life often gives them more responsibility than others. But taking on everything alone can lead to burnout and emotional exhaustion. Learning when to delegate, when to pause, and when to rest is essential for long term success. At a deeper level, Bharani teaches one powerful truth: not everyone is meant to live lightly. Some are meant to carry weight so that order, structure, and continuity exist in this world. And Bharani natives are among those souls. So let's talk about Bharani Pada 1. This falls in the Leo Navangsha, and these natives are born with a strong sense of right and wrong. Even as children, they feel older than their age, as if life has already handed them responsibility. They do not enjoy shortcuts, they do not feel comfortable bending rules for pleasure. Something inside them constantly asks, what is the right thing to do? This is because this Pada carries the energy of authority and dharma. They naturally command respect even without trying. People listen when they speak, not because they are loud, but because their words carry conviction. Early in life, this responsibility can feel heavy. They may sacrifice enjoyment, freedom, or ease simply because duty comes first to them. But this same quality becomes their greatest strength with time. Money for Bharani Pada 1 comes through position and trust. As they rise in responsibility, finances stabilize, leadership roles, administration, law, governance, or any work where integrity is tested brings long term wealth. They do not usually become rich overnight, but what they build lasts very long. Their biggest challenge is rigidity. When morality becomes too strict, they may judge themselves and others very harshly. Their life lesson is simple yet profound: to lead with firmness but rule with compassion. This pada carries the karma of the moral authority, the one who stands firm so others can feel safe. So here we're going to talk about Bharani Pada 2. This Pada falls in the Virgo Navangsha, and these natives are quiet carriers of the world. They work while others rest. They hold systems together without recognition. From an early age, they feel responsible for family, finances, or stability. Life pushes them into duty before they feel ready. They're practical, disciplined, hardworking. Even when environments are unhealthy, they endure, and not because they don't feel pain, but because they feel the obligation to do so. Money for this pada comes only through consistent effort. Luck rarely hands it to them, but once money starts flowing, it remains steady and dependable. They earn through service, medicine, management, business operations, finance handling, industry, or any role where someone must ensure things don't collapse. Their danger lies in burnout. They often give more than they receive, and when appreciation is missing, resentment builds inside them very quietly. Their life lesson is learning that serving others does not mean abandoning oneself. This pada carries the karma of the support system, the one who keeps life functioning behind the scenes. So now we are going to talk about the Bharani Pada 3. This falls in the Libra Navansha, and these people live through connections. They are magnetic, expressive, and emotionally intense. People notice them without an effort. Love, desire, partnership, these are not side themes in their lives. They are central lessons. They crave closeness very deeply. They feel alive through relationships, and because of this, their biggest karmic learning comes through love. Money for this pada comes through people, partnerships, public dealings, art, beauty, fashion, media, hospitality, sales. Any field involving attraction and interaction supports them financially. They can earn very well, but money may fluctuate because emotions influence decisions. Their challenge is dependency. When they give too much power to pleasure or validation, they lose stability. The lesson is learning that love should enhance life, not control it. This pada carries the karma of relationship transformer, the one who learns maturity through desire. So let's talk about Bharani Pada 4. This falls in the Scorpio Navansha and is a very intense and deeply transformative pada. Life does not touch these natives lightly, it reshapes them. From early on, they face powerful turning points, sudden endings, emotional shocks, or deep inner changes. Push them towards maturity much faster than others. They feel life very deeply, often more than they express. This is why they are drawn to what lies beneath the surface. Psychology, healing, research, trauma work, occult knowledge. They are comfortable exploring pain and truth, which makes them natural survivors and healers. Their greatest challenge is internal. When emotions are not expressed, when pain is carried silently, it turns inward and drains their energy. This can show as withdrawal, emotional heaviness, or unconscious self sabotage. Self awareness is essential for them. Money and stability rarely move in straight lines here. There can be sudden gains and sudden losses, but once they understand their emotional patterns and stop fighting their intensity, they develop rare earning abilities. They succeed in fields where depth is required. Like I said, healing, psychology, research, crisis handling, or any work others hesitate to face. In relationships, they love deeply and honestly. Superficial bonds don't satisfy them. When attachment breaks, detachment is final. Their life lesson is surrender, not as weakness, but as acceptance of change. Some chapters must end so something stronger can be born. This pada carries the karma of rebirth. They are meant to close old cycles and rise through transformation. That is why Bharani Pada 4 is the soul of death and rebirth. So Bharani, as we have discussed, is not a light nakshatra at all, but it is one of the most powerful ones. Each pada carries a different burden, a different lesson, and a different life path to wealth and fulfillment. If you find yourself in this pada, understand this very carefully. You were chosen because you can carry more than most. Subscribe to the channel for deeper nakshatra wisdom, and if you ever wish to understand your own chart in depth, personal consultation is always available. Until next time, Har Har Mahadev.